and welcome to the program. Last December, the Canadian government added Ukraine to the automatic firearms country control list, but since then, there's been limited information on whether any deals have been made. Global Affairs Canada remains tight-lipped on permits to export arms to Ukraine, merely saying that every bid made by arms manufacturers is being assessed on a case-by-case basis. However, one Canadian arms manufacturer is ready to speak with us about the weapons deal with Ukraine. Joining us from Winnipeg, Canada via Skype is Ross Spagrud. He's the owner of PGW Defense Technologies, a sniper rifle manufacturer. Welcome, Ross. So tell us a bit about your company's deal with Ukraine. How much is it worth? How long did the negotiations take?
Yeah, the negotiations took about 3 to 4 months, and we've had the signed contract in our hand now for about a month in Ukraine, and it is worth about $1 million Canadian. And it is for the LRT-3 50 caliber sniper weapon system that we produce here in Winnipeg.
So a contract has been signed?
Yes, we've had a signed contract along with all the end user documentation from the Ministry of Defense in Ukraine now for about a month. We have a long history of exporting. We're very experienced in it, and the system is designed to ensure to as great a degree as possible that any military exports, whether they're firearms or aircraft or vehicles, end up with the specified people and for the specified use that's provided in use documents by the client in respect to countries like Ukraine. But the Ukraine is an allied nation to Canada. Canada has extremely strong Ukrainian roots, and I'm quite certain that every Ukrainian in Canada almost certainly would support initiatives like this that are designed to protect the needs of their homeland.
Can you tell us a little bit about the weapon that you're planning to sell to Ukraine?
Yeah, the LRT-3 sniper weapon system is chambered in 50 BMG, which has become a very popular sniper caliber in recent years, actually for a long time. The bolt-action rifle we produce incorporates a 5-shot magazine, muzzle brake to reduce reduction, stainless steel construction for corrosion resistance, comes with a sound suppressor, optical sight, some spare parts, cleaning kits, so on. Those sorts of things create a package with a weapon that in the hands of a trained person is capable of engaging targets to about 2,000 meters.
What about your top-selling weapons? Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Across our product line, I would say the split in what militaries use in order is pretty even between the 3 models that we produce. It's not that it's more popular, but I would think, again, I can't speak to the particularly military strategy being employed by the Ukrainians. However, it's obviously they felt there was a need to have a long-range sniper system versus a shorter-range one, based on their current experience that they're having there. The LRT-3 50 cal, which is the one we're talking about now. And then there is the Timberwolf 338 Lockwood, which the current one is actually a variant of the one we produced for the Canadian military, which was called the C-14. And the third one is called the Coyote, which is our short-range system, although short-range these days is still long-range for most people, and it's chambered in 308.
You mentioned the deal being estimated at 1 million Canadian dollars. Now, this does not sound like a major weapons deal. What's your strategy here?
Well, it's not a huge deal, but it's a good deal, and it also takes place during a time when we're producing essentially the same equipment for other clients, so we're able to streamline production in respect to that. A typical project for us is larger than that. However, we're more than happy to sell the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense $1 million worth of our products and provide the after-sales support, service, and training that they need to make a decision moving ahead if they need more products, and we'll be happy to fulfill that need.
Your company previously sold sniper rifles to the Canadian Armed Forces. Can you tell us a bit about that?
We are working with them on some projects at the moment, primarily in respect to parts and maintenance and those sorts of things. And a research project we have a little bit on the back burner right now with them, though, but it's looking very promising for the future.
The Canadian military has a reputation for training and equipping some of the best snipers in the world. As a sniper rifle manufacturer, I suppose this is something that you are greatly proud of.
No, that's an absolute fact, and of course I'm not a I've never been in the military, and I'm certainly not a sniper, but I have had the privilege of undertaking a number of training initiatives with the Canadian Forces, as well as various forces around the world, and I've had a chance to observe proficiency levels, and certainly the Canadian Forces snipers are amongst the very best in the world, and it's something that this country should be proud of.
2 years ago, your company faced scrutiny after photos emerged from Yemen of Houthi rebels holding sniper rifles which were made in Winnipeg. It appeared that the weapons were stolen from Saudi forces. So what's the risk of that happening here in Ukraine, and are there any steps to take in order to avoid the weapons falling into the wrong hands?
In respect to equipment supplied to military forces in conflict zones or zones where there's a chaotic environment, there's always risk of such things happening, of course. Although the nature of these weapons are that if someone were to steal one or take it off of a dead soldier and attempt to utilize it, it's a product that requires very specific training to be used with any degree of effectiveness against an enemy combatant. And somebody just picking one of these things up that doesn't have a year's worth of training and actually using this equipment and the tactics associated with it, it would be almost worthless to them. But having said all that, the goods falling into the wrong hands are always a concern, and that's why the Canadian government issues export permits via Global Affairs and does a thorough vetting of all projects for military equipment, whether it's the guns, airplanes, tanks, helicopters, vehicles. There's always a very thorough vetting process that takes place, and the buying military has to certify that the goods will not be resold, redistributed, etc., without the express permission of the Canadian government. However, if during a war, for instance, somebody was killed and lost their weapon, that's a responsibility that is really neither ours nor the Canadian government.
Very interesting. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. We were joined by Ross Spagrud, the owner of PGW Defence Technologies, a Canadian sniper rifle manufacturer. You're watching UATV.